All right, we're going to get started. So today I'm going to see if I think we can turn this volume up a little bit since I'm talking so quietly. Hopefully that's a little better for people. I had heard that it was a little quiet until I get a mic stand and have the mic in better position. I think that's the best bet. But anyway, just as a reminder to anybody who's just tuning in, this is just meant to be a inspirational type of hangout for myself and for anybody who wants to do something creative. I mean, you're welcome to ask questions, of course, regarding sculpture or painting sculptures. That's primarily what I'll be doing here, and yeah, I think it'll be some people seem to get stuff out of it. I've taught this kind of thing in the past at different schools, but for now I'm doing a different day job and trying to inspire myself to get more projects done, and this seems to be helping. So we're going to continue. I'm going to keep this series going until this one finishes, and then I'm going to start a new project and a few other things on the go that will continue the quick practice things. Try to do those daily, and the terracotta stuff I'm going to also try to continue that on a regular basis. I'm not sure how often. I guess it'll depend on I don't know. We'll see what the response is like, if anybody really cares about it or not. But it's something I want to do sort of for younger audiences. I'm not saying that it's designed for kids, but it will be for sure skewed for a younger group. I would suggest nobody under 5, but ideally 10 and up for the terracotta. So anyway, let's continue this. So I've done a little bit more work since the last one. I did quite a bit of cleanup on the line there and filled in that orange color more solidly. I cleaned up quite a bit on the back here. Just did another coat on the white and just cleaned the edges just a little bit. It's still a little rough in a couple places, but I'm not too worried about it, and I think it'll be okay once I get the black lines on. I did fill in solid with the brown here. One coat seemed to cover pretty well. I did the white background behind what's going to be one of these little paintings. You can see the lines line up a lot better now, much closer to what the others are instead of what I had a minute ago. You'll notice that the orange on camera is really popping. The saturation level on that is way more yellow on camera than it is in front of me, but it does point out the obvious difference in this kind of subtle orange that they have on theirs, on the originals that I'm trying to match. So you can see that there it's a much more soft, a little less saturated basically, but similar tone. So this one is, wow, that's really looking orange yellow on this camera. Also the light that I'm using, this light is very warm. If I turn it off and just have the LED strip, you can see that it's actually kind of different in tones, and I might actually leave that off. It doesn't seem to be doing me any favors with the tones, although it is a bit dark when I look down, even though the light's pretty well balanced on the screen. So we'll see. I might still need my little spot, but I'm probably going to mix a better orange for this. Since I do have a bottle, like I said before, I'm following my own advice and just mixing a small bottle of any kind of tone that I'm mixing, like the skin. And you can see also on his face, I finished up all around the edges of the black, and I finished with the mustache and cleaned up the eyes and eyebrows. And that was really it. I'd done that already on camera, so I didn't feel like anybody needed to see it again. And I just kind of felt like doing it when I had them around on my desk during the day. So yeah, I'm gonna finish with the black here. Of course, these little black wrinkly lines that are on the originals. And then yeah, this painting, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how the mood strikes. We'll get to it. There's still lots of black to do on this and the others. There's you know, this little butterfly pattern that they paint, the lines, and I'm gonna do black somehow incorporated here. I might do a little little design squiggles like they do on the animals, just to fill it in a little bit, because it's okay to have him a little special. Even though the other ones, the backs aren't very detailed, I kind of felt okay sort of repeating their motifs and making that a little more interesting. And yeah, the rest here is pretty simple and straightforward. So you can see up close, it's not terribly perfect, but it's a nice pattern, and it makes it clean and neat when it just by having enough of it on there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do some of that. I'll probably finish up with this white and the brown, but before that I really got to fix this orange color because it's still quite bugging me. So this will be interesting to see. We'll figure out what to do with that. The red is pretty dead on. I'm quite happy with that. I don't think that's a mismatch at all. It feels like it fits right in. The orange or the yellow for the sleeves, even though these are new, they match the original. And the skin tone's on now. Could probably put a little rosiness on his cheeks to match what they did on these. And yeah, everything else is a dead match. I mean, these were original, and this is new. And yeah, and this whole figure was new. This one, there was no Joseph, there was no baby Jesus in this set. So I looked at different references of this similar style and matched as best I could. I did a little bit of took a little bit of liberty there and made a little more detail on the pose for the baby under the cloth, and I think I did it right. Otherwise, it's very similar in style, and obviously it fits with the existing piece that was there. Oh, look at that! I think you can actually see. I just realized that impression is actually that's actually an impression of the original into the wet clay. So yeah, my baby's maybe a little bit bigger than the one that they had, but I don't mind. I've seen pictures of them, and they don't look the greatest. I'm not really impressed with the babies, but the rest of these are so lovely. I really am impressed. I love the style. I love those little paintings are all different and original in each one, and I'm quite happy with them. So it was worth restoring this set and finishing off the pieces that were missing. It was a nice project, something fun to do. So yeah, I'm quite happy with him. But you see, he's starting to come together with all his parts painted on. But let's get this orange done. Then I think I can do the brown and the white. This brown is pretty much straight brown. Yeah, that's that brown, and that's right out of the tube. Burnt umber. It's exactly that. So I'm not too worried about matching that. It almost looks like a magic marker. It's so clean. I wonder if it's a Sharpie. Actually, you know what? I think they Sharpied that on. It looks like a brown Sharpie. It's so smooth. But if not, you can see that there's a brush stroke for each straight line, which it's a practiced hand. It's been doing this style and this kind of thing, and you do, you know, if you have an assembly line of this, obviously you get better the more you practice, of course. Anybody will say. So I'm doing this for the first time, this style, this set, so bear with me, please. Alrighty, so we are definitely live and going. I'm finding it a little too dark on my side here, so I gotta put some light in front of me, otherwise I can't really see what I look down. Alright, I got my black, I got my other colors. This is my red maroon, which is mixed and good to go if I need it. This is just regular ochre, and so here is my orange. So now I have a little bit too much of this orange. I'm gonna need a bit of it. It takes a bit of coverage because I'm doing it on the back of her shawl here as well. And the original color is up there, so that was the orange that was there, but it was actually, I'm sure it was the same orange as this. So I gotta try to desaturate that a little bit. And yeah, it's not the same as dealing with light colors. I can't just drag the saturation down, as in monitor colors. So the only way to get it darker is to add something a little darker, or a complementary color or something. Because right now I put a little white into it. So right now that was just straight, it was that yellowy orange, the kind of sunflower orange yellow, and then a deeper orange color that I had a bottle of. So those two mixed. Yeah. So there's the source yellow that was mixed with a darker orange to make this kind of in-between orange. And then I added a little white to it as well. Actually, quite a big drop of white from the tube, and it made it a little more milky, which is what it needed, but it's still a bit too saturated. So the only thing I can really add is a color like this medium tan brown, but this yellow ochre is a little too rich still. I don't think it's going to be a good color to add, because it's just too much saturation again. So I might have to go with a little drop of this raw umber, just because if you look at it, you can see how muted it is. It's a very deep brown, but it's quite a bit different than adding the burnt umber, which is quite a warmer version of that brown. So let's see what happens when we start mixing these. So I'm going to test it, of course, before I start pouring it into the bottle. I don't want to have a ton of this paint, so I'm going to start with a little bit. It's staying pretty well mixed. It's not super thin anymore because of the amount of white that I added. So you can see it's got a good thickness to it. This is probably the ideal amount to keep if you're going to keep it around. Because it's like, yeah, it depends on how thick you like it when you're painting, but and how much coverage you want to have. I still like having the heavy body acrylics in the tubes, but these little bottles have really worked well to have that difference in consistency. Alright, so I'm just going to put the tiniest little bit of that brown on there. Raw umber. And I'm going to see what I get with just mixing the tiniest bit. Now it's going to be very dark, of course, but you see how that sort of desaturated it? So now I'm going to find the in-between, which is where I want it to be. Slightly less saturated than the original. Because yeah, that is, oh, wow, that really saturates on camera. It's about there, honestly. Just a little less bright richness in the color, and that looks about right to me. I'm going to do a quick test on here, see how it looks paint wise. You know, brush in hand is a little bit different than when you paint it, so if you really want to see it, I mean, you have to drop it somewhere. So I'm going to just put I'm going to put the smallest little amount on here just to see what it looks like, coverage next to the other. And while it's wet, it's quite a bit shinier still, but wow, it really doesn't show up on camera. It looks about right to me, but it's still not quite the right tone, as you can see when it oversaturates. That's kind of interesting. Using the camera to help your eye. So obviously the color is there, but for me to be able to see that on camera, it's because the lighting is being adjusted. The levels on the camera are being auto adjusted, so I'm seeing a little bit clearer what I can't see in real life here. But if I hold it up to a light, yeah, then it kind of comes out. But I'm watching this dry. So that little bit drying, it really looks like a match in front of my face. But for whatever reason on camera, it's just magnifying the that richness still. All right, well, let's try a little bit more brown. Problem is, any more brown, and it's just going to get dark, and it's going to be too dark to look like the orange anymore. But it's going to be somewhere in between if I really want to show it, and if I'm really trying to match it. So I'm going to try it one more time. Yeah, that looks closer. You can see the dot difference. I mean, it looks a little brown to me. The problem I'm having with that is it's going to dry darker. Somewhere in between, really. This is going to be the real trick, is finding that exact shade. And honestly, I don't think it matters that much. I really don't need to be sweating about this too much here. I think I'm just going to go with it. See what I get. I do have a watered down version of the raw umber that I can drip into there and get a pretty close version. Now it's not too bad, but I don't know. For me, when it's wet, it looks so much darker. But somehow it's like matching it. No, that's too dark. I really don't like it that brown. What's weird is that color, this color orange, it's got a fluorescence to it too. So it's not a really great pigment, but I've seen pigments like that. I've seen oranges that have this weird fluorescence to them, and it's probably just because it's one of these like off or whatever brands of acrylic that come in wherever you get them from, one of these tubes or bottles. That's it's just not a standard pigment, is what I'm saying. I think it's something. Oh, actually, look at that. We even have one. Huh. I wonder if that even has any juice left. So this is just from a set of airbrush paints that came with the airbrush I got, that had a bit of pre-mixed colors in little bottles. So what's funny is I'm looking at it now, and it actually looks like the orange color. Let me see what it comes out. I don't even have enough in here. This is a very small amount. See, the difference of that is not much. I mean, it's just closer to the original yellow again. I don't think it's even as muted as it looks in the bottle. Yeah, that's really just yellow-orange again, which doesn't help anybody. I've got a little bit of raw umber still on my brush, so I'm just seeing what that looks like mixed in. I can try one more drop. I'm spreading it out to see how it mixes, and yeah, you can see on camera there it's still a bit saturated, but honestly I cannot tell the difference when I'm looking at it straight on with my eyes. Alright, well, I mean, the real question is, how close do I need it to be to look like it's matching? Right now, if these are sitting next to each other, you see the orange at the bottom is super bright on Joseph, where it's going to be covered with the brown. I mean, could probably get away with it, but I think I'm going to do a coat with the burnt in it, because I don't think it's going to stand up how it is right now. So this is the raw, here's the burnt. Let's see how mixed it is. I don't think I've opened that one in a while. Is that the burnt? It looks greener. Might actually be the right color to use. No, it's the same. It's interesting when it gets diluted, it's got this little greenish tint to it almost. It might also be some separation of the pigments just because it's been sitting for a while. This brush is not clean enough to use. I don't really want to dip a dirty-ended brush in there, and this one's been dried and cleaned so many times. I don't think it's going to matter. So yeah, it's got a green tint to it. It's interesting. And of course, using green and orange together, if you've never done that, I mean, it really just makes brown again. But it's an interesting trick. Mixing warms and cools, of course, complementary colors opposite on the color wheels is a really good technique if you're starting out painting and you want to try something really fun. You know, paint colors, or paint objects that are made up of primary and secondary colors, and then use the complementary color as the shadow and nothing else, and you'll see some magic happen. It's a really revolutionary, fun thing that I was shown in high school, and I went to town on one painting with it, and it was I don't know, it was really good. I thought, especially for my age at the time, it was a amazing experience for me, and I found it really fun and interesting, just the exercise of dealing with the colors like that, and refusing to use black. I used a little white mixed in with the colors for shading, but I didn't use any black to make shadows. I only used complementary colors, and it was really a lot about painting, apparently, according to my teacher at the time. So I was quite happy with it, and I learned a lot, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. It was still a really worthwhile experience. All right, let's see how this mixes, and it is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I want it to be. Yeah, it's the same color. It just really looks green when it's watered down. So too much obviously will just make it muddy and gross, but it is, you know, one of the only ways to take out the saturation. I'm just really trying to avoid to add black, because the slightest bit of black is going to make it just go nuts. Actually, that's not bad. I mean, it still looks saturated on camera, but I'm looking at it here and it looks about right, so I'm going to go with it. See, those little bit of mistakes, you know, you go back and forth when you're painting in a tight little space like that. There's almost nothing you can do. You're going to have a little paint go back and forth. Eventually clean it up by just hitting it without making the mistake. You can keep refining the line as you go. Just find it easier to make a stroke downwards, just personally. I mean, you find the angle that works for you. Going sideways feels just super loose. If I'm holding the brush sideways, I think I can get a better stroke, but my hand does not want to stay steady doing that. Whereas if I go like this, pull down, I feel like I can get a much straighter, clean stroke each time, hitting exactly where I want. Sometimes I just gotta turn the brush. So it's peeling itself away because of course I'm impatient and trying to just get one coat coverage. So the only way to do that is to go back and add more wet paint lightly any stroke of any firm stroke will just rip the paint away when it's wet. I'm going to come there with a little pointy brush if I want to get any closer than that. Really, nobody's going to look in there, so I'm not too worried about a little bit of mess. They had worse mistakes on theirs, so to stay true, I'm just going to leave a few things. But I did want to bring that line down and refine this, so I ended up painting that red maybe a 1/4 inch lower, and then just brought the white down to cover up where I had the line originally. And it's much closer now. And this I don't have to do too carefully because I've already got the edge pretty well done. So I'm just going for it. Most of this is going to get covered by that brown anyway. So as long as it's not super bright, I think I'll be okay. That's pretty okay. I do want to do some little orange stripes in the back following this motif. I don't know, I was debating whether to do too much. Yeah, I just slipped there. I'll just go with it. Try not to make it look like a paisley. I don't want to mix too much influence in here from other regions. Try to stay true to the original style, but I don't know. Felt like it needed something there. That works for me. As long as it looks intentional, I think I can get away with a bunch. All right, let's see if I can get some little lines in there to accent that white, since I have enough of this color here. Or maybe I should finish the coat on that. I don't think I got enough. I'm going to have to make more. All right, let's finish this first. We'll do the little flowers on this. I'll show you some little tricks. Very similar to what these guys have done on some other patterns, and also I've seen in other cultures. It's pretty fun and easy to do rows of dots, and you can make a lot of things out of that with a few little pattern tricks. They don't take much effort. Okay, let's finish that off. So even the size of the dot, I don't have to be too careful. And now I can do things with a smaller dot and watch the magic. Probably going to add some white in there as well. There's plenty of water. Yeah, I don't want that to get dry. I do have the tiny brush. Let me try this one first. I think this one's small enough. Yeah. Fairly easy to repeat and adds a huge level of detail. You don't have to be too precise. Get a bunch out with one drip. If I add a tiny bit of white to that in another pattern, it's going to be pretty much done. And I didn't do that in the white because I feel like it would have been too much contrast against the base color, and not fitting with the style of what I've seen in other patterns around the rest of the set. But this little flower pattern, I definitely saw something like that on the back of one of them. I think it's close enough to fit the style. And as you can see, that did not take that long. And now I have a nice little pattern going around the whole edge of the blanket. Ooh, now I'm gonna put this down without messing it up. I might have to lay him a different way. Carefully. Just don't want it touching the blanket. All right, let's see what we can do with this size on here. I'm gonna need some more paint, so I'm gonna mix a bit more. I'm gonna leave this orange how it is because I like this pigment, but I do need more with the brown. Ooh, yeah, screw the lids back on. Otherwise, you will do what I just did and pick it up. That's too much. That's why I don't pour directly from the bottle into the mix. I'm just trying to match what I've got next to it. All right, I think I got enough now. Now I still don't want to. I can't keep going back and forth. Let me just finish one guy. Got little hairs in there. Chunks of dried acrylic. You don't want those in your paint. Another problem I might have mentioned before is that this paint, I'm trying to match these solid colors with pigments on the originals that were done sometimes with just a thin stroke in one shot, and it's tricky to match that because I'm not practiced enough to do all of the strokes with one shot like they did originally. So I need to mix the dried version of the color that, I can possibly go over several times like this and get a deeper, solid pigment version. So it's a little tricky, and I think a little harder. Obviously, I don't have the source bottles to compare to, so I just can do it by eye. That's working out pretty good. It's a lot less saturated than it was. I think it's close enough to the original. But I'm going to move on after this coat. Yeah, and that all gets a black line around it too, so that will get more refined just by overlapping the join of those two colors with one quick stroke. It's looking very mustardy, which is not wrong. Probably going to put some black. I saw some other sets that have, they all have a hat. They have a little string around it, a little knot, so I might do something very similar to that. The bags on a lot of them were just painted in the same red that I saw that's around the rest of it. So, excuse me. All right, feeling pretty good about that. Let's see, get some more orange on the back. Waiting for that to dry. I guess I should do this while I got a big pot of it here. All right, let's just get this going. I haven't lost too much with the undercoats of orange. I mean, it's really similar color. A little chunk there. The more times I go over it, the worse it gets. So I'm going to try to do it quickly with one stroke like that. And that should do it. I could have done that better. Not terribly thrilled about this transition at the top. It is what they had on the original, but I don't like it. It's hard to know what it really looked like, because as I said, I don't have any reference of this particular set. So the missing parts were just missing. And I can only really compare it to the others and similar sets. Almost. Sometimes you can go quick and wipe it with a slightly damp. Yeah, any more will scratch it away, so I'm going to leave that to the black to cover, and I do have the red, so Should be fine. All right. All right, that was good. I wanted to get that coverage done. We're gonna need another coat, but should be okay. Yeah, I should probably leave that. All right, let's get something. Trying to decide what to do here. That feels right. Ooh, gotta be careful. It's pretty tacky still. Now this is where it gets dangerous. When I start handling this with a little bit of paint on my fingers, that is a bad idea. So I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup here. Just get a better paper towel and wipe with just a little water. I really don't want to start sticking, especially dark brown or black. Don't want to get that on the other side where it doesn't want to be. Done it already once or twice. It's not fun to clean that up. All right. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't mix the whole bottle of that darker brownish orange because it's close enough, and I'm happy with that. All right, let's get everything I need on the back, and then I think we'll be good to start on this swirls, and then the white. Yeah, I think we'll be all right. All right, I'm going to pull up my references of the other sets and the rest of this set. Just to make sure I'm not missing any little ideas for what they do on the backs. Okay, yeah. So I see the flower. Oh, right, and those. The ones with the open backs, they ended up doing this kind of orange. So they have an orange stripe, a thick one down the side, and then just a red zigzag, which I think is kind of boring. So I like what I'm doing here. I'm gonna keep going with that. Okay, so we're gonna go with the thin orange bits. I'm gonna see what I can do with the smaller brush. And the orange, and all the rest of these, you can see here, they alternate between that black, red, white, and orange. So putting all 4 colors on the back in stripes is not too different. I mean, I'm doing a bit of a swirl, but like I said, the other ones, they did very similar pattern, just thinner lines, and I don't like it so much. So what did they do with the orange? Not too much in the middle with the orange, mostly red and white, and then a little black. So I don't want to fill in too much because I'm not going for like a super filled in pattern here. I want to leave some white space, so to speak. I mean, I could do dots all the way down. I could do patterns. I could do a little zigzag. I don't want to go too crazy and up the detail level. I mean, most of them, they just have like really quick, simple strokes. So let's just do something simple. Continue these little streaks, maybe with a thicker dot and then a streak. Trying to keep it somewhat simple. So do a quick pull, and I get a nice little dot. Something like that. That'll work. Might as well go for it. They do a lot of flowers. I think that'll work. All right, I think I'm gonna break out the black and do some fine tuning on that. Maybe even start on the front since, oh yeah, that's gotta dry. So I don't want to handle the front, paint the front while that's drying. It's gonna be an accident waiting to happen. So let's get the thin hairbrush out and see what we can do on this butterfly and flowers. All right. Where's my black? Oh, right. And this guy's dry. So I can get some black on there. I'm gonna go around that line. Can even do a little center. No, they don't do too much of that. That's a little bit different. But having some white repeat, I think, is not a bad idea. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see. I'll do the white before I do the black, because otherwise it's gonna be a dirty brush. Well, actually, I don't need this one for the white. Do I? This white's pretty heavy. I think I need a little water. And yep, the water is a little dirty. So making it slightly off-white, which is not too bad. Yeah, you kind of have to just lay those down. Don't get too many chances on those, so. just black on there, and I should be good to go. Don't want to have it too complicated with the blanket. So I think that'll work. Go get the black on his face. Oh, that is, you know what? That is the eye color. After all that, I think they use the same color for the eyes. Maybe a little browner. No, I'm gonna do it. That's really close. A little too dry. Now it's a little too wet. The water's beating up a little too much, but I do like the coverage of it being a bit thicker, so I'm kind of going with it. Just starting on the inside and spreading it as I get the shape I want. I don't like what that bump is doing at the bottom of that one. I am going to cover that with black. I think I better quit while I'm close. Yeah. All right. Okay. That's it for that. He'll be looking good once he gets his black details on his face. And where was I with this? I mean, his bag, I think I can keep his bag simple. I didn't see any details on any of the others. Just gonna leave it solid. I might clean it up a little bit, although I do kind of like the look of it with a little bit of stroke to it. Probably okay how it is. Alright, let's see what we can do with this detail. Get one shot. Maybe I should warm up a bit on his arms. Let's see what they do. They do like an antenna coming down, coming around, down, and then a weird little tail. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but that's what they do. Not as refined as I wanted it to be, but honestly that's very similar. And then around the wing, really? This looks like a flower petal coming off. What is that? Huh. Some of them have a little orange on the inside too. Bristle was bending the way I did not want it to. I did on purpose miss that line because it's supposed to be two wings. I think I can fake it just by doing that. Pretty close. Man, I cannot get the angle that I want. Yeah, I'm not too happy with that part either. I think I might have to do something to fix it, but we'll see what happens with I'll let that. Oh man, that was a slip. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone for now. Not so happy with my thin line work right now. Come on. Yeah, maybe I need to pick a different time of day to be doing this. I mean, that was kind of what I wanted. I don't know what happens psychologically when you start doing black. I seem to flinch more on my release. I keep finding the wrong angle on my arm too. Wow. Yeah, that is not my favorite line work. I gotta stop trying to go too slow. Yeah, I don't know. From far away, it's going to be fine, but I'm just beating myself up about some of the choices. I don't know what I'm doing with these slips here. This is really not what I meant to do. Anyway. A lot of them do have weird squiggles and things just to fill in, so I'm not feeling terribly bad about some of these lines. I mean, around that sun was pretty interesting. Could probably get away with a little bit of something, but I'm just not liking this brush, really. I thought I had a good thin bristle there, but I'm really not happy with the action I'm getting on the bend. Probably because of the way I cut it, and if I had a long brush that length with just a thin hair, I would think I would do better with it. And just switch back to this one. See? That reads a bit better. have to put this down. Yeah, I might have to come back to that. I think it's alright for now. I'm not terribly happy with it. Yeah, I gotta stop. I keep messing with it and then not really liking what I'm doing, so I had to come back to that when I get a better idea. Alright, the flowers on the chest definitely have a little bit of black around there. Do it again. Try again with this hairbrush. I don't know what's going on tonight. It is not behaving for me. It might be because it's stiffened up from use. I don't know. Debating whether I should cut a little more off of it around the bottom. Should have probably got a scissors and done it properly. Now I'm just curling little bits. I think that's better. Whew, let's see if I can get a steady enough hand here. That seems about right. I mean, a lot of them are pretty simple. I might have even done too much detail already. A lot of them use this trick to make it look like more than one petal. I'm not gonna go crazy there. Maybe a little bit in the back. Make it look like I meant to do that. I don't think that's too bad. Pretty close to what they do. I clean that a little bit up. All right, what are we at? Let's get this hat done. Yeah, so these I've always seen a little X. And then a line. It's a little rough. But, you know, something. Now the other squiggles everywhere. Yeah, I guess you can't see those. There's a lot of little fill-in squiggles. You know what? They do a lot of these oranged out flowers too, so I don't feel too bad about that. Huh, there's the pattern with the... They do these little upside down U shapes and 3 little dots, almost like little sprouts of flower. I think I'm going to go crazy filling in the gaps here, but I might do a little bit of that actually. Let's see. Don't want to go crazy. There's a lot of little marks like that around the other ones. I guess they're like stems. Oh, yeah, I guess that's what it is. It's like a bunch of little stems and flowers. Could do one of those here. Where's my undo? That was a mess. Let's see. I might paint over that. Alright, let's see if I can't get this line work any better tonight. I'm gonna have to stop. I'm having trouble keeping it steady. Really, I think I'm just not seeing what I'm doing. The light is just not bright enough. Yeah, painting along a ridge of a thing like that's not so easy. The hair is going to be black anyway. This jet black might be too dark, but it is what they all have. All right. Well, that's not too bad. I think we're getting there. I might have to wrap it up for tonight, though. I'm getting shakier than I meant to be. Did all right on the front there, but really, all right. Maybe we can do the brown and then wrap it up. The front, I would like to see that pattern kind of finish out because it's just, he's really starting to fill in and look like he's part of the set, you know? I forgot about the arms. I'm gonna do that another time. All right, let's get this. What I'm worried about is having to do a bunch of coats of this. This watered down version. I don't think I'm going to get the coverage I need out of this. Let me just see what it looks like. Yeah, see, it's super thin. It's too thin. You can see it's divided up into thirds. One, two, three, and then, oh, that's going to be tricky. Might be able to do it with some light paint here. Is it a little over? It is. I guess they make up the difference. It doesn't matter too much. Something like that in thirds. Maybe I will do it with the light. No, I don't know. Let's just try. You could try it with the same color and just paint it and see if it makes the pattern, but you can also look at next to this and see what's going on. Alright, so I do have the black to make up for it later, so let's just see if I can get a thin version of this working out. I don't know if I'm going to get the same thickness. This might not work, because that is... I thought I did the same width around, but man, it does not look like it's going to fit. Oops. Well, that's supposed to go the other way, isn't it? Well, it might be too late. Let's see. It's actually the same repeating pattern, not weird. Those two are right. This one's wrong. Okay, well... Ugh, I am not going to get the coverage I want. Alright, well, it's going to take a lot of coats. I might have to go a few times over this. Yeah, I guess it was a little off. Alright, well, I'm going to come back and touch that up with a lot of the other color. We'll see what happens. I might not get what I want out of this. Anyway, it'll be something like that. I'm going to have to go in and fine-tune all of that. But getting close. A lot of black and white still to do. Yeah, I don't feel up for the black right now. That's too thick. Yeah, those could have been closer. Taking a little bit of a gamble there with the distance, but I think it's close enough for this pattern. Similar enough in style. Okay, line down the middle. One shot. All right, that's not too bad. I'm getting a little happier with that. All right, it's pretty much just the painting and fine-tuning that guy. And not much else I'm gonna do on the back. I might touch up a little bit of this whoopsie-doo here. That's better. Oops, little spill there. I'm gonna have to clean that up and decide what I'm gonna do. Like I said, these other guys have a lot of little white dots as basically flower buds, I guess. Usually in little threes, so I'm gonna see if I can just keep that style going. Yep, let's save that. I think we're pretty good on the back. I'm gonna maybe touch up a few things and undo a few things, but I think we're good. I think we're pretty good on the front here almost. There's a lot of brown work to clean up there. Ooh, those little pluses. If I could double those up, probably got enough space. They're really far apart. That's not too bad. It's actually very similar now. Alright, gotta do a lot of black lines there. I think I'm going to stop for now though, because I'm getting tired. It might be easier to paint this color in the reverse. Alright, I'll save that pattern. I think that's good. Black. Yeah, I'm not going to do the black tonight. Got too much going on. Okay, well, that's it for tonight. See ya.